Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my podcast, Meds, Vents, and Vibes, a late night chat with a medical mom. How are you guys doing today? It is episode 2. Now, I have 35 views on my last episode, so I just want to say shout out to those 35 people that sat and listened to me yap for 30 minutes. Who I am, and you wondering, why does this girl have a podcast? I'm a 23-year-old medical mom of a little girl. She has a trach event in the Gtube. She's 1 year old. And I have no friends. So I sit every weekend and I record me a little 45 minute session of me just yapping. Do a lot of cuts and a lot of edits because I just wanted to feel natural and organic. And I wanted to feel like we're just having a conversation. We're sitting on FaceTime. We're chit-chatting. We're just girls. You're one of the girls. Even if you're a guy, even if you're they, them, you're one of the girls. These lovely people who just stumbled across my page on YouTube and wanted to check out a podcast about a medical mom. Follow me on TikTok. I post a lot of daily vlogs, a lot of short form content, quick answers to questions, nothing long, nothing crazy, just little 2-minute, 3-minute videos about my day. And if you're interested in those little vlogs, they're quite fun. I love filming them and talking to you guys. I feel like TikTok is an easier way for people to get in contact with me. Like if you want to comment a video, comment a question or something, my TikTok page is the way to do it. Anyways, let's get into oh my god, can I talk? Anyways, let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is going to be NICU because today or this month, September, is NICU Baby Awareness Month. And if you didn't know, my daughter spent 10 months or 296 days in the hospital. So I know a thing or two about the NICU. There are a few questions that I commonly get, and also questions that I just asked because I feel like other people would probably want to know that if you never had a baby in the NICU or if you're gearing up for a baby in the NICU. Because some people actually do know that their baby's going to be in the NICU before their baby's born, like me. So, I'm going to answer a few of those questions, give a few of my little tips and things like that for being a NICU baby, or not being a NICU baby, but having a NICU baby / just being in the hospital and what that does to your mental. Question number 1, how did I feel after birth when I didn't get the typical experience? So, my daughter was born and she was immediately swooped away. And I know that's not the situation for every single NICU baby, but a lot of times when your baby is born early or if they have a pre-existing condition, you are fully aware that you will probably not get skin to skin or anything like that, or any type of, you might not even get to touch your baby. You might get like a quick glance and they take them away, which is what happened to me. They lift my daughter up and said, "This is her." And I think I was just so shocked that I just had a baby that I didn't even get to process any of it. So she got swooped away and intubated, and I didn't see her for a couple hours because I had to, obviously get myself checked on and things like that. So my advice for that would be, if you know you are going to have a baby that is swept away fast, try to mentally prepare yourself for that, because you don't want it to feel like somebody is stealing an experience from you, because in reality they're doing whatever they can to save your baby's life. So I tried to not think of it as something where somebody is taking from me, and more like they're doing what they need to do for my child. Like my child at the time, she didn't need mom immediately. She actually needed medical intervention to keep herself alive. So I feel like when I separate myself from what's actually happening, it was better for my mental health to actually understand that it's bigger than just me and skin to skin. And I'm not saying that those things are not important, but there comes a time when you get the skin to skin, and there's different things that the NICU, well, at least my NICU team was awesome about making sure we got to build a certain connection, to make sure we had mom-daughter, the connection between mom and daughter, which was very important, obviously. But I say all that to say, make sure you're mentally going in it with not the thought of somebody stealing your precious moment, but them saving your baby and making sure they're okay. And I feel like that is probably my biggest tip when it comes to that, because I had no super hard emotional feelings with that, because I knew I was going to see her Eventually I knew that I just gave birth to her, so I'm her mom. I knew that we were not going to get skin to skin. I knew everything that was going to happen, and it happened. It didn't obviously happen the way birth plans happen, but it happened in pretty much the way the doctor said it was going to happen, so I wasn't really thrown off or surprised by anything. Number two, recovery from birth while having a baby in the NICU. Now, there's a lot of things in the NICU that are very high intense and stressful and very like touch and go. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things, there's a lot of situations, there's a lot of babies. There's babies in there that are just there for eating and growing, but a lot of times babies are there and they're pretty sick. So, especially where I was at like a level 4 hospital, so it was everybody's baby was there for pretty much something bigger than just eating and growing. Anyways, to say that, I say that when it came to my healing process, like my postpartum, I could not even focus on my own body because I felt so consumed by my daughter's health that I never really got a chance to sit back and be like, wow, like process my feelings about anything. Because if when you're in a NICU situation, it is high intensity. Like you are like always on go. Like the doctor's telling you this, there's big changes every day. There's sometimes big changes day and night, sometimes 3 times a day. Like there's big things going on at all times, especially in the beginning of those first couple of days when they're like doing labs and doing tests and doing this procedure and that procedure. So like you're kind of lost in all that, and like you kind of like can separate yourself from your own body, which is crazy because like I feel like that's just such a mom thing. Like I could have been in the most excruciating pain, which I will also say that I did not get tore from the ruta to the tuta, if you know what I mean. I did not have a crazy hard postpartum journey because I just didn't tear much. Whatever. My daughter came 6 weeks early. It could have been that. It doesn't matter. She did not tear me up. So I wasn't in a lot of pain in general. Well, I was taking ibuprofen and things like that. So I feel like I don't know if I'm the best person to say if I had like a horrible like fourth degree tear and everything like that, like how I would have been. But I was up and walking and wearing regular pads by probably day 3, and I got 1 stitch. So like I didn't need ice packs or frozen pads or anything like that. I just pretty much used like the peri bottle and a pad, and I was pretty much good to go. So, but anyways, that's my cat meowing. But anyways, my postpartum journey, I can say, was easier because I was able to heal while knowing that my baby was in a position where she was being best supported and best taken care of. Now, in my head, did I think about that? No. I was laying on that couch in her NICU room, healing and going to the bathroom every other hour to go change my birthing pad. But at night, I was able to sleep through the night. I was not like awakened by a newborn baby crying or things like that. So like I felt like in a way I was kind of spoiled in my postpartum experience, and that's how I like to look at it, because it was a hard time. Like it was a very hard time. I was crying a lot. I was trying to pump, which was very successful for me. I could do a whole episode about pumping because it was very I was fortunate enough to be successful in pumping. Anyways, I was pumping and I was journaling because I was so distorted from my emotions and I was going through a lot of things. So I felt like in that moment I didn't feel like it was easier than a typical postpartum journey when you have a newborn baby and you're at home and you're trying to like take care of yourself but also take care of this baby. I didn't think of it. I thought of them as equal, which I don't know. Somebody else could say they're equal. But now that I'm looking back, and I brought my daughter home when she was 9 months old and she was sleeping through the night, and she didn't need to be like she has a Gtube, but if she was like a typical baby, she wouldn't need to be fed at night. Like I don't really need to bother her when she sleep. I don't need to wake her up for anything. Like just typical things. Like she came home a baby, not a newborn. So like I couldn't imagine coming home after being ripped from the ruta to the tuta and having to take care of a baby as well as take care of myself. and I do plan on having another kid, so I'm sure I'm going to experience that. But all that to say, in a long story, that I feel like it's so subjective. Like, now looking back with a 1 year old, I feel like my postpartum journey was not hard at all. Like, for my physical self, it was not hard. My emotional self, because of everything that was going on in my life and everything that was going on with my daughter, it was different. So I don't know. To each his own. I just feel like I just started ranting in that one, and that's because I feel like I feel like I talk about that, and not a lot of people talk about that part of it, and always want to hit on that, because you can take a second for yourself, because your baby is being cared for to the doctor's best ability, and they're in good hands. They always say you got the best babysitter, because it's like a NICU nurse. Anyway, I feel like I'm just gonna wrap that question up right there. I'm just gonna wrap that question up right there, because I feel like I over talk about that. Okay, number 3, holidays in the hospital. So my daughter spent, I would say, all of the main holidays in the hospital. She was born in August. So, like, I feel like that's the start of, like, the holiday season. And she spent literally every holiday in the hospital. So she spent Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Easter, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, and I believe that would have been first day of spring. That would have been the last one before we left the hospital. The only holiday we've been home for is 4th of July. And if you want to count Labor Day, you can. But we were also in the hospital for Memorial Day. Anyways, I say all that to say, we did not know that we would be in the hospital that long. Like, I did not know that when we were going over Graylin's plan for birth. It was like a 2 to 3 month thing. So, like, I always say, at least you'll be home for Christmas, at least you'll be home for Halloween, at least you'll be home for Thanksgiving, like, at least you'll be home for the main things. So when oh my God, don't let me get lost in the holidays. When Halloween came, it was hard for me, because I don't even know if my daughter was extubated at the time. I believe so. I believe she was extubated, and she had CPAP. So, yes, actually, she had just got moved to ramp cannula, so we could see more of her face. She was on this CPAP, this bubble CPAP machine. If you know, you know. It's like it covers your whole face, and you can't really see what they look like. And before that, she was intubated, so you really couldn't see what she looked like. It was just a lot. So she got moved to ramp cannula, which was very exciting for us, because we could see her so clearly, and she had on this. She wore a little deer dress, and this deer dress was so big, I had to like put a tie in the back to like make it tighter, because it was the smallest size they sold in like Halloween costumes. I had to find at Walmart, and my daughter was only like 3 months old, so it was a 6-month-old outfit. But anyways, when it came to holidays, I feel like in general, I just wanted her to feel a part. Like, it was hard because, like, I went trick-or-treating with some kids, like some family kids, and I felt so, like, it's so weird. I felt like so separated, because I'm just thinking about my baby. But then again, like, she's a baby, so like, it's not like she was actually missing anything, but I felt like as a mom, I was missing those first crucial moments, which now I look back and I'm like, it's about to be her second Halloween, and her second Christmas, and her second Thanksgiving, and she's home now, and she's in a better situation. But looking at myself then, I was a new mom. I had all these new emotions, and I felt like when somebody told me, she's a baby, like, she wouldn't really be doing nothing here anyways, it was them, like, I felt like they were trying to exclude my baby from the situation, which made me feel even worse, because I'm like, she does exist. She is a person. She's going through a lot right now, and one day she will be here. Like, she's a part of everything. So, like, I don't know. I had a really, like, hard time with holidays, because I felt like people were just trying to comfort me by telling me that she wouldn't remember this anyways, but I will remember it, I will remember her first Christmas that she had heart surgery. She had open heart surgery her first Christmas, Graylin was out and down for the count her first Christmas. She was intubated, so we have no pictures on the actual day of Christmas. And she couldn't wear clothes, so like she couldn't wear a Christmas outfit or anything like that. So it just didn't feel surreal, and it was very stressful, to say the least. Easter, she got her trach surgery around Easter time, so like she was out on Easter, like she was not even, she had, if you know, you know, when you get trach surgery you have to lay flat for 5 days straight. So she was pretty much donezo, like we couldn't even pick her up. So we took pictures before Easter, but you know, things like that, like I felt like I didn't get to organically celebrate the holidays, which was hard for me. But I'm so excited for the holidays rolling back around, because if there's a medical mom out there, a NICU mom, a mom sitting in NICU right now, and you're about to go through the holiday season, and your baby, and there's projected that your baby will spend up to New Year's in the hospital, know this. Your baby will be healthy and safe and beautiful, and they'll be well taken care of. And you can do those holidays in the hospital. I did every holiday in the hospital. Literally every holiday in the hospital. I made sure her room was decorated. She had gifts. She enjoyed it. I took pictures. I saved the memories. And it's okay to step away. I did go trick-or-treating with family kids. I did go to Thanksgiving dinner at my boyfriend's parents' house. But you know, you obviously come back to your child and be with your child, but it's okay to step away and go see your family, which was hard for me. It was so hard for me to leave my baby in a hospital and go to a family event without my child, especially when you like are a new mom. It's, I don't know, it's I feel like that's a hard thing to explain unless you get it. So if there's a mom out there who's about to go through this holiday season and you don't know when your baby's gonna get out of the hospital, and you don't want to ask, just know you can do it in the hospital. Now, I don't have other kids, so I can't speak to other kids in that type of situation, but I will say this: it is possible, and it is going to be okay. And it's just one Christmas out of all the Christmases. I know it's the first Christmas, but it's just one Christmas. It's just one holiday. It's just one Kwanzaa. It's just one Hanukkah. It's just one. And then next year when you go home, you do it double big. Double big. But anyways, that's how I feel about holidays. They're very taxing on a NICU mom or medical mom, especially when your baby's inpatient. Birthdays. My daughter just spent her first birthday in the hospital. That was pretty hard for me. It was like, I would say harder than any holiday, because a lot of things we did, her decisions we made for her, we like said we just don't want her to spend her first birthday in this hospital, like never been outside, never touched grass, never smelled air, which she did. But you know what, she ended up back in the hospital for a month, which was like, not, I did not have that on my radar, but that is life. I put it out in the air, she can't spend her first birthday in the hospital, and it came back and bit me in the butt. So whatever, I have since dealt with those emotions, and you know what, life moves on. She will have another birthday. We got to still celebrate her birthday. We actually got to celebrate it twice. We had a little small intimate thing with me and her dad and her, and all her different people at the hospital who know her and have known her since her birth and love her so much. Got to see her for her birthday. And then while also we came home and she got to meet cousins and family and everybody that she has never met before. So I feel like all in all, it worked out. But in the moment, I was just so angry that she was there. And I'm not angry at my baby for being sick, but I'm angry at the circumstances. I'll leave that holiday talk right there. Next question: how do you deal with other people's opinion on your decisions for your child's medical situation? Long story short, I don't. I never ask for anybody's opinion when it comes to my child's medical situation. Nobody but her dad, her doctors, and myself are people who are like chit chat and then getting to decide and affecting my decision on that. So like when I got my daughter her trach surgery, and I talked to somebody about it, a family member, and they were like, did you decide all your options? Are you sure this is like, I think you should hold on there. When I tell you that something's gonna happen, I don't say it in a question mark. I say it as a statement. When I said my daughter will be having trach surgery, whatever, Friday, that means it's done and already sealed. Like, I've already talked about it, and I don't know, I don't get offended, but it does, like, kind of like rub me the wrong way, because it's like, what makes you think that you have thought of something that I have not thought of as her mom? And I'm not saying that I'm all knowing, but you're not her doctor, you're not her father, and you don't, frankly, probably have never met her. Or, like, in a situation, some of these people have not even been to the hospital to see your child, or been there enough to, actually have medical input, but you see something like as semi-permanent as a trach, and you're like, have you tried all your options? And I'm like, my daughter been sitting in this bed for 9 months. Every single day I'm here with her. She hasn't been outside. She hasn't been 5 feet away from this machine. Yes, I have worked every option that I possibly can, but God is showing me that this is the option that is best for my child. And when I said I made that decision with her father and her doctor, I wasn't looking for you to add your input. I was looking for you to say, oh, okay, I pray for her surgery. So I feel like when it comes to people asking me how do I deal with people's opinions on decisions I make for my child medically, I don't. I actually don't deal with them. I just tell them I didn't ask you. So if you have a problem with anything that I do with my child, go get your own child and then do your own and make your own opinion. Do your own things with your own child, because this is not your child. So I have to express that very clearly. My child is not your child. So any decision I make for her has nothing to do with you. And now if you want to go back and forth with me about something, you just won't hear from me. You will not hear from me. And I've always been like that with a lot of things in my life. So it's not something that's uncommon when people hear me say that. But yeah, that's how I feel about that. And I will also say, when you are firm and you are like if you're firm on your answer and you're firm on the decision that you made to better help your child in the long run, no matter what it is, no matter if it's surgery, no matter if it's an IV getting placed, that is your child, and you have sat and made that decision. You know your child as best as anybody. So when you make a decision for them, don't let anybody sit and talk to you like you didn't outweigh all your options, And I'm not saying don't take advice from people, but when you're not looking for advice, like when it's something that you have sat and thought about for, months or weeks and something like that, and you have finally made a decision after all the thinking and researching and processing, going through, your process, and someone comes and tries to, like, what is the word? When they come and try to sway you another way, and they're like trying to undo all the work you have done to get yourself to that point of acceptance of this surgery, of this procedure, of this whatever. I feel like that's wrong. So I would not tolerate that. That's just me. I do not tolerate that. That pretty much sums up my answer to that question. This question: mental health while in the hospital. Listen, I can go on and on about this, because after spending that long in the hospital and then going back and spending a month, I want to say I have a little bit of PTSD from the hospital. It gives me a lot of anxiety, talking to doctors, rounds, cardiology specifically. I'm not going to go into detail of why, but cardiology specifically gives me anxiety. I've talked about that before. But different things give you different emotions. And when you have trauma connected to a place and you have to go there every day, I don't know, it's another type of hell, I would say. But when it comes to, like, my mental health, I had very little support where I was. Her dad, it was there, and it was just pretty much me and him day in and day out. Our family lived far. My mom called me pretty much a couple times a week, and I appreciate that, but I didn't have anybody there in person. I didn't have anybody that I can go get lunch with, that I could talk to. I met a friend later on in my stay there, because she actually saw my TikToks and she realized that I talk, because I would go to the Ronald McDonald House after a long day of being so emotionally in tune with my daughter. Like, I would be so in tuned with everything that's going on, trying to absorb everything the doctor's saying, trying to pay attention to all these signs, trying to learn her, trying to figure out like as much as I could about her, that when I left the hospital, around 9 o'clock, 9:30, 8:30, whatever, whenever I left to go to bed and go get dinner, I would be so drained for the day. I wouldn't even speak. I literally would see like families in the kitchen. I mean, I wasn't mean. I wasn't shoving anybody. I just never said much. I would very much be like, I'm gonna get my food. I'm gonna go get in a shower. I'm gonna lay down and watch TV in silence. Nobody's gonna say nothing to me. I'm not gonna say anything. There's no beeps. There's no whistles. There's nothing. Cause like her dad, also Graylin's dad worked full time at this point, so I also was alone. So I never ate upstairs with anybody. I just went to my room and ate my dinner by myself because I had a long day and that is what I needed in the first couple months. It was so hard for me. I couldn't take on my own mental challenges of having a baby in the hospital, but to add friends who also have babies in the hospital and they're also going through sometimes worse situations. In the Ronald McDonald House, there's kids of all ages, and there's a lot of them are NICU babies, but a lot of them are kids are of all ages. So it's hard to have a friend who also comes with their own set of trauma related to the hospital, if you know what I'm saying, and they're also going through it at the same time as you. So at the time, I thought I wanted some support friends there because I would say, oh, they're eating dinner and stuff, and I didn't get invited, but also I didn't present myself to be invited, so like I couldn't be mad at that. That's a whole nother thing for another video. But anyways, so I did end up making a friend, and it was awesome. It was great to see because it was at a point of Graylin's stay where she wasn't so severe, and she was like leaning towards going to the stable vent unit and getting off oxygen and talking about the crazy D word, discharge, when those words were actually coming into existence. Like, those situations were it was a perfect time for me to meet a friend, because I think any time before that I was kind of drained, like every single day. It was very draining, and I found friends in my nursing, Graylin's nurses. I had a lot of nurses that had her very often. Our primary, shout out to them, we love them to death, but I spent a lot of time talking to them because I just spent a lot of time there. And also, I did a lot of self-reflecting. I played a lot of iPhone games. Monopoly Go, shout out to them. I still play them. I played Fishdom. Love that game. I'm on level 15,000. Anyways, I colored when I couldn't take my phone anymore, because it's like the NICU is intense, but it's not always that intense. Like, when my daughter started getting to like the age where the point where she was like having weekly changes instead of daily changes, a lot of those days I just sat there while she took a nap, while she watched a movie, while she sat in her bed, while she had, I just sat there. So obviously I was interacting with her, but you're not interacting with your baby all day every day. Like, at some point you leave them alone to play with their toys, independent play, things like that. So I had a lot of free time on my hands, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I was like, I can't do anything else but be here and deal with my emotions. What I can say is that I learned very quickly to separate myself from my daughter's hospital stay. When I say that, you're probably like, what? Because a lot of people say, well, how do you deal with your NICU stay? And it's not my story. Like, Graylin being in the hospital is her story. I had nothing done to me. I was healthy. I gave birth to a baby and I was healthy. I literally could get up and walk 3 hours later. Like, so I feel like I have to always remember, like, she went through that, She's not going to remember it. So maybe I do carry a lot of the weight of it. But at the end of the day, she has the scars on her body. She's not going to remember it, but she had to live with that. I went home every single day, and God gave me the strength to walk across the street, to get in bed, and to eat dinner, and I could shower, and I could close my eyes. And I could wake up the next day and feel a little bit rejuvenated enough to go back across the street. But I had the option to leave, you know what I'm saying? I had the option to step out of the hospital situation. And I felt like that was very important for my mental health, was for me to be able to leave the hospital, physically leave the hospital, because at my children's hospital, there's also a Ronald McDonald House in the hospital that's like parents only, and it's quiet and whatever. I couldn't do that one because I needed to leave. I needed to take a walk. I needed to get out of the hospital. I needed to not be in the same environment. I needed to take a second away. Like, I needed to take a second away. Or I would have, if I stayed on like 2 floors down from Graylin, I would have never left her room. I would have been there till literally I had to go eat and go to bed. Like, I would have been there until I had to go to bed, and then I would have got up in the morning, brought my breakfast right to her room and sat in her room. I needed to be able to step away, and going to the Ronald McDonald House was my way to step away. I was able to take a shower, take a bath, cook myself dinner, because there's no stoves in the hospital, so I was able to cook myself food, meet people, see other people, know that I'm not alone without even having to talk to anybody. I knew that I was not alone. You know what I'm saying? I feel like mental health in that situation is kind of like, it's kind of like last priority when your child is going through something. You're not worried about your own mental status. I probably had 4 breakdowns the whole 10 months I was there. I probably like just straight up like bawled my eyes out for a solid 2 hours. 4 hours. 4 times that happened. But I definitely had days that were hard, and I definitely had days where I told her dad, like, this just sucks. Like, this just sucks. But I always remembered, always, because at the end of the day, my daughter was severe. Like, she had a lot of stuff going on, but she was not deadly. Like, my daughter never coded. I thank God she never coded. She never like turned blue. Like, it was never it was never a situation we were just watching her hour by hour to see what happens. She never had those type of situations. So I can't speak to those. But what I can say is that there was definitely nights that were harder than others, and I'm like, I hope she doesn't need to go back up on this type of support. I hope she doesn't need to be intubated tonight. Like, those type of things. Like, so, but I can say, whatever, back to what I was saying. What I could say about the NICU is that it is a moment in time, which I always had to remind myself when I remembered that when I had like one of those days that it just sucked. I had to tell myself that this will be over one day. This is not forever. One day you will take your daughter home. One day you will get out of here. You will not be here forever. It might be 300 days. It might be 400 days. It might be 500 days. But you will walk out of here on day 501. Day 301, day 201. You will walk out of here. It will end. And then it will come a time where your daughter is just yours. And she is no longer a patient of the hospital. You are no longer checking to see your daughter and checking out at night. You are a full-time mommy. I felt like part-time mommy, which was hard for me because I felt like when I left the hospital, nobody knew I was a mom. And maybe now I feel like I give off a little bit more mom energy, but I still don't think I do. I feel like it's hard to be a mom when your baby's not around you all the time, which even though you're in the hospital, your baby's around you all the time, but also you have other people doing their cares, doing their baths, doing their trach ties, doing their, you have other people who are involved, which I am so thankful for. So thankful for. I will end my video off with a message to my nurses because I'm so thankful for every NICU nurse who I'm not going to go there right now. But anyways, let me finish up before I do my little NICU nurse thank you speech. It's hard to be a mom without the baby. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how else to explain that. If you know, you know. But anyways, that's my answer to that question. And to wrap up this video, I will say thank you so much to anybody who touched the lives of tiny babies with your bright, fun t-shirts that talk about NICU babies, because NICU nurses have that collection of clothes. Like, all their shirts have NICU little NICU sayings. They got Halloween, they got all the little versions. But anyways, thank you so much, because you carry so much weight, because you are going from room to room and taking care of these precious lives who we wouldn't know what to do without you. Trust me. I loved my nurses. I still love my nurses. There's still a couple nurses that I talk to on a weekly basis and give them updates about my daughter, and I love them dearly. They're like family, and they watched my daughter go through some of the milestones that not even her grandma got to see her go through. So I thank them so much because they understand. They understand NICU milestones that other people don't understand. They understand NICU things, even though some of them are not even moms, and they get it. They get it. So thank you to the nurses, especially thank you to the NICU nurses, but also thank you to the nurse practitioners and the doctors and the specialists, neurology, genetics, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. Thank you so much because you guys take care of our babies when they're most vulnerable, and you guys don't even get to see them. Well, sometimes the specialists get to see them, but you get different doctors when you go inpatient, outpatient. So you get, I'm not gonna go into a whole rant about that, but thank you, because without you, my baby would not be sitting in her bed right now as I'm looking at her sleeping, sucking her thumb, holding her bear. So, but yeah, I'm gonna wrap this episode up. Make sure you guys check out my socials. If this video gets 15 views, I'm gonna make episode 3 next week. Comment down below what you guys want me to talk about. It could be medical stuff, it could be mom stuff, it could be my opinion on some mom drama. I don't know, I don't care. I want to chit chat with you guys because I love chit chatting with my friends, and you guys are my besties. But anyways, I'm gonna go. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate you guys. Bye bye. Love you guys. Bye.